I started this project on Friday, May 8th. At work, we were having Furlough Fridays every other Friday, so I figured it was a good opportunity to work on a woodshed. The prior days, I had gone shopping for the lumber, had my son dig out the post holes, and I went ahead and set the posts. That way I could get started first thing in the morning. So I'm leveling out the posts as best as possible. Not terribly necessary for a woodshed, but we have real sandy soil here, so I figured I would go ahead and stabilize them as best I could because I hadn't tamped down the posts yet. I needed the woodshed because I had a lot of trouble this spring as I got into some of the wood that was in the back of my wood pile. It wasn't as dry as it needed to be, so I really decided to go ahead and build a shed. So here I'm setting some corner braces that will both help me get the beams up as well as hold things a little bit more steady. I should have gone for the larger size on the angle bracket there, but I had a brain fart while I was at the store, and the other angle brackets I could have gotten were 2-inch. I forgot what face they would be on the wood, so I got the 1.5-inch size. Should have got the larger size, but it'll work, and I'll probably come in later and reinforce this a bit more. So the middle got a T because there's going to be 2 beams. Overall, the woodshed's 24 feet long. That way, one row ends up being a cord if I stack it 4 feet high. Normally a cord is 3 rows of 8 feet. In this case, it's 1 row of 12 feet, 1 row of 12 feet, adding up to 1 cord per stack. Half a cord per side. I sized my headers for the snow load in the area, but based it on a slippery roof. I'll have to put a link in the description on how to calculate some of that. If there's any specific questions, I'm happy to help answer to the best of my abilities. So on the upper side, I have a 2x10. I could have gotten by with a 2x8 if I could have gotten number 1 grade, but that's not a stock item at my local hardware store, so I decided to go with the 2x10 number 2 grade. The downside, because there's an overhang, I upsized to a 2x12 due to the extra load of the overhang. I happen to have this one 2x10 on hand already, which is part of the reason why I decided to go for 2x10s on the upper side, just because I already had the $15 piece of lumber. Might as well make use of it and get it out of the garage. I was originally going to do 3 sections of 8 feet and build it as I went and as I filled it, but it was actually more cost effective to build it in 12-foot sections. The 12-footers are a little bit more expensive, but eliminating the extra 4x4s was really what drove the cost. I was trying to get that straightened earlier when I almost fell. I gotta figure something out here. So I brought my straightener that I had left over from my treehouse build. Figured a 3-foot pipe wrench would probably be more than sufficient. And sure enough, I was able to bend the supports and make everything straightened out pretty well. A little overkill for this project, I'm sure, but I wanted it pretty straight as best I could. So I'm just showing here that I had 2x12 headers, measured out the 2x12, fired up my generator, set my depth stop on my saw, and then started cutting out notches for the bottom side 2x12 header. I notched the bottom and set the beams on top of the post on the top because I wanted the extra height. My header was sized, I needed at least a 5 and 12 pitch, and so setting the top end higher and setting the bottom end lower helped me achieve that. Overall, the inside dimensions are 6 foot 2 inches, and I have just over 3 feet of rise. So I achieved about just over a 5 and 12 pitch. Having the tractor generator really helped out in this project. Otherwise, this is quite a ways from my house. I would have had a lot of trouble running enough extension cords to get power out here, and I really didn't want to saw it by hand. My son was trying to earn a little extra money, so he was coming out to see if I needed any help. And there was a few times I had him help. Didn't all make it on video, though. Of course, he was earning extra money when he was digging those post holes out, which saved me time, made him a little money, saved me the effort. was able to knock out the holes in about 2 to 3 hours. We have pure sand here. I have some pictures that I forgot to include. I'm just now realizing. Another benefit of putting the beam down a little lower on the bottom side is it will help with lateral stability. I'm going to have to come in and add some corner braces on the upper posts. They're not in there yet. It hasn't really been too wobbly, but it's something that's going to need to be done just for stability. I also didn't notice until I got to the video that my camera tripod is either the tripod or the mount on the camera itself is causing the camera to turn on its own. Fortunately, it wasn't too bad. Didn't ruin anything.
Not sure if this is coming through or not. Today chilled off. Now it's snowing. Ridiculous.
Yeah, so snow in the middle of May. That is pretty ridiculous.
My helper. He dug out my post holes for me. Now he's packing them back in flip-flops when it's 32 degrees with no socks. Winter coat, winter hat, and sandals.
So after this, while he was waiting for more help, he chilled out in his hideout. So in this area, I dug up a stump, and it was deep enough. I figured I could make a hideout by putting in an IBC container. Here I'm cutting the upper notches. Didn't go into a whole lot of detail. There were 13 of these things, 13 of the rafters. So I showed a couple. I ended up switching over to a jigsaw and a drill. The blades broke on that. It was way too slow. Worked pretty decently, but set the rafters with the notch on top and then marked where the bottom would go. And then you can see right now that I notched it a little deeper, that way the rafter couldn't slide off. I made that improvement after the first couple of rafters and came back and redid those. But now the rafters can't slide backwards, and I don't necessarily have to come in and add the tie downs on all of the rafters. So I added these diagonals because everything was pretty wobbly, but after I added the diagonals and screwed them to the header, it really helped out. It turned out it wasn't the posts that were wobbling so much as the header, so I added the 3 diagonals to those headers, and it really firmed everything up. Just coming in and adding girts to add in roofing later. So I added some pieces of miscellaneous roofing that I came in on Saturday and put up on one half. The other half I'll have to figure out. I actually just found out I lost my job due to COVID-19, so I'm not going to be buying any new roofing steel, but I have a couple miscellaneous pieces I'll put up. The side that I'm on right now is completely covered. The right-hand side is about half covered. Good enough I'll be able to get 2 or 3 cords under cover completely, and then go from there.